About 61% of American adults were considered middle class in 1971, compared to just 51% in 2019. Between 1970 and 2018, the middle class share of aggregate income fell by 19% in the US. In comparison, the share of aggregate income for upper income households saw a rise of 19%.
Wages in America have stagnated since the early 1970s. But it was 1979 when the gap between workers' productivity and wage began to substantially increase.
The bottom 90% of American workers saw their annual wages increase by 28.2% from 1979 to 2020, while wages for the top 1% increased by 179.3%.
The decline of the middle class in the United States is a concerning trend that raises alarms about income inequality, state of the economy. It's disheartening to see that the middle class, which used to be the backbone of the American economy, has been shrinking over the past 5 decades. Recent analysis from the Pew Research Center reveals that the percentage of adults living in middle-class households has dropped from 61% in 1971 to 50% in 2021. So in this video, we'll talk about 10 reasons why the American middle class has seen a severe decline in 50 years. But before moving to the first point, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification, as this is the most effective way you can contribute to the production of future videos. Without any delay, let's start the first point. Number 1, stagnant wages. The root cause of the vanishing middle class is the persistent problem of stagnant wages. For several decades, middle-class employees have experienced inadequate salary increments that have not kept pace with inflation and the mounting living costs. This income stagnation exerts immense pressure on individuals and families, curtailing their buying power and overall financial stability. Wages in the U.S. have stagnated since the early 1970s. Between 1979 and 2020, workers' wages grew by 17.5%, despite productivity growing over 3 times as fast, 61.8%. Number 2, income inequality. The United States has staggering levels of income inequality, with an unfair distribution of income gains that overwhelmingly favor the top earners. This has led to a significant decline in the middle class, as the growing gap between the wealthy and the middle class has resulted in diminishing opportunities and resources for the latter. The income gap between different social classes has widened since 1970. Back then, upper income households earned 6.3 times more than lower income households and 2.2 times more than middle income households. Fast forward to 2020 and the income gap has increased to 7.3 times for lower income families and 2.4 times for middle income households. As a result, the middle income bracket is shrinking due to the concentration of wealth in the hands of a few. Number 3, technological advancements. The advancement of technology and automation has brought about a revolution of several industries, leading to job polarization. Middle-skill, middle-income jobs are now replaced by low-skill or high-skill positions, leaving countless middle-class workers displaced and struggling to secure suitable employment. This displacement is worsening the decline of the middle class, causing a significant erosion of job security and income stability. According to a study by the Brookings Institution, young and prime-age men with lower levels of education, high school diploma or less, have been hit the hardest by the loss of middle-class routine manual jobs such as machine operators and production workers. On the other hand, young and prime-age women with intermediate levels of education, high school diploma, and some non-degree post-secondary trainings have experienced a significant decline in middle-class routine cognitive jobs like secretaries and administrative support workers. Number 4, globalization. Global trade expansion and job outsourcing to low-wage countries have profoundly affected the U.S. middle class. The competition from foreign markets and relocation of manufacturing and service jobs have resulted in fewer employment opportunities and lower wages, contributing to the middle class's decline. These individuals typically belong to the poor, working class, and middle classes in developed countries. Although their absolute income levels remain high globally, their relative fortunes have not progressed as much as others. Number 5, decline of the manufacturing sector. Middle class have suffered due to the fall of the manufacturing sector, which used to offer plenty of high-paying jobs. The reason for this decline are automation, globalization, and outsourcing, which have led to the loss of manufacturing jobs and affected middle-class workers who made up a significant part of this industry. The United States has lost millions of solid manufacturing jobs since the 1970s to places like China and Brazil, depressing U.S. wages, especially in manufacturing. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, manufacturing used to be a significant source of employment growth for many years. It has actually lost jobs in the past 4 decades due to the shift towards service industries in the U.S. economy. In June 1979, manufacturing employment reached its highest point ever at 19.6 million. However, by June 2019, employment had decreased to 12.8 million. Number 6, declining union membership. Over time, there's been a decrease in union membership, which has resulted in reduced collective bargaining power for workers. As a result, it's become more difficult for middle-class employees to negotiate for improved wages, benefits, and working conditions. The weakening of union representation has led to a decrease in the protections and economic benefits that were previously available to middle-class workers, which has contributed to their declining numbers. According to a recent report from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the percentage of wage and salary workers who were union members in 2022 was 10.1%, which is slightly lower than the 10.3% recorded in 2021. Number 7, increased healthcare costs. The rising costs of healthcare are putting a strain on the middle-class families, with insurance premiums and out-of-pocket expenses increasing. There's less disposable income, and saving for the future is becoming difficult. According to the government's estimate, U.S. healthcare spending is expected to reach nearly $7.2 trillion in 2031, growing faster than the country's economy through the beginning of the next decade. Moreover, McKinsey predicts that the United States will face a shortfall of more than 200,000 registered nurses and 50,000 physicians in the next 4 years. This insufficiency of healthcare professionals could impede access to healthcare services and exacerbate existing health inequalities. Furthermore, it has the potential to result in elevated inflation rates. Number 8, rising education costs. The costs of getting a higher education have increased significantly, making it difficult for middle-class families to pay for college and pursue advanced degrees. Some schools prioritize financial aid for middle-class and upper-middle-income families, may also have difficulty paying. However, small colleges have limited resources. At Wheaton, federal data shows that the net price for the lowest-income students has increased by 35%, while the net price for the highest-income students has decreased by 17%. Average cost of private school attendance from kindergarten through 4 years of post-secondary study is over $440,000, with the average annual tuition at a private university exceeding $32,000. Number 9, housing affordability crisis. The rise in housing expenses, especially in cities, is a big problem for middle-class families. It's harder to become a homeowner due to the increasing prices and rental costs and strained budgets. As a result, the middle class has to spend more of their income on housing, which leaves less money for saving and investments. The increase in rent prices in the last 2 years has resulted in high inflation and has made life more expensive for many Americans. Although the rate of rent growth is decreasing in some regions throughout the country, it's not helping low-income or middle-class renters. The United States is experiencing a shortage of affordable rental units, and most of the new units built in the past 20 years are high-end, Class A apartments with luxurious amenities in prime locations. The average monthly rent for all apartment types in the United States rose substantially in 2021 As of February 2023, the average monthly rent for a two-bedroom apartment in the United States reached $1,320, up from $1,282 a year before. Number 10, net worth decline. A financial crisis had a significant impact on the family's net worth, which is the amount of assets that exceed liabilities. In 2007, the median net worth reached its highest point at $120,000. However, the crisis resulted in millions of Americans losing their jobs and homes through foreclosure. As a result, by 2010, the median net worth had decreased by 36%, reaching $77,000. As for a recent picture, the USA Facts data revealed that between the fourth quarter of 2021 and the third quarter of 2022, the inflation-adjusted household wealth, the bottom quintile, increased from $4.31 trillion to $4.74 trillion. Meanwhile, the top 1% of households experienced a significant decrease of almost 16% in their overall wealth, falling from $40.56 trillion to $34.21 trillion. The rest of the top quintile also saw a decline of nearly 11% in their wealth and those between, which includes the middle class. The 60th and 80th income percentiles lost almost 10% of their wealth during the same period. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and share your opinion on the middle class crisis in the comments section below.